Hey YouTube. Okay, as promised, here's my video on the Slate and stylus. Now this is about as close to handwriting that you can possibly get for Braille users. Now the benefit of the Slate and stylus is it's portable, they're easily obtainable, they are relatively inexpensive in the world of Braille stuff. The disadvantages are you have to put in dot by dot by dot, and a lot of people find them confusing to use, and it's more just you have to get used to it. Now, I'm not saying that we all need to start writing with the Slate and stylus for everything, and let's bring the Slate and stylus back, and but I do think it's something you should probably be somewhat familiar with if you do need to jot down something fast, like a phone number, or maybe you need to remember to get like 3 or 4 things at the store, just anything like that. There's just really random times in my life that I have found a Slate and stylus to be helpful. Also, if you don't have a Braille labeler, you can use a Slate and stylus and a notebook card. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about just the Braille cell, because if you don't understand the concept of the Braille cell, you're not really going to understand the concept of a Slate and stylus. Braille is made up of 6 dots. Those 6 dots together form what is called a cell. Kind of the easiest way to think of it is if you used to use an old school typewriter that didn't have the auto spacing, every single thing got the same amount of space. So an A would be the space the same as a Q or as a T. Now modern computers aren't so much like that. The spacing changes depending on the letter. But for Braille, that Braille cell is always going to be the same. That's what it is. So you have like an A, which is just a dot 1. A B is dots 1 and 2. A C is dot 1 and 4. And so on and so forth. Now, the thing is, with a Slate and stylus, because you're poking the dots through, you have to write right to left, but also an A is a dot 1, but when you're putting it in on a Slate and stylus, you put it in as a dot 4. And you might ask, well, how do you know how to do these dots? Inside this little thing, there's these little grooves, and you can feel with the stylus where each dot is supposed to be. Now, unfortunately, I know my camera isn't set up the best way to show this. I am going to do my best, but you take, in this case, it's my little index card. You put it in between the Slate and stylus, and you shut it. And because I'm just demonstrating, I'm not going to worry about positioning on the card or anything, but if this was something important, I might. So, I want to do an A. An A is a dot 4. So I'm going to put this in at the top right of the square and press down. A B, which reading it would be a 1 and a 2, is going to be a 4 and a 5. Okay? So you take this out. Here's my A. And here's my B. So it definitely does take some getting used to, but I do think that it's something worth kind of exploring and playing with. If you're ever bored one day because you're waiting on surgery that you've been waiting on for a few months because you've had an eye infection and haven't been able to lift anything heavier than a glass of milk since about September 20th, it's now December the 17th, you might be looking for things to do to spend your time. You might decide a Slate and stylus is a great way to spend that time. I don't know. But if you do, I hope this helps. If you don't even know Braille at all, I just did a video about Hadley. You can check out Hadley. Hadley is free for blind and visually impaired people. Should have mentioned that in the last video, but hey ho. If you don't know but if maybe you don't want to learn Braille fully, you're just really bored and have like 20 bucks to spend on a Slate and stylus for whatever reason, and you choose to, you can look online and at least get the alphabet, and you can do the alphabet to your heart's content. I mean, it wouldn't be my first choice of things to do, but why not? If you do have any questions about the Slate and stylus, please feel free to let me know. I'll try to answer them. I don't claim to be an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, if I was, I probably wouldn't be taking the Hadley course. Just saying. You know, but I can answer, you know, basic questions, and I do know the Braille code if you do have any, you know, deeper questions about that or anything. Oh, and if there's anything else Braille related, blindness related, or anything that anybody desperately wants to know, feel free. Some comments on my videos are left open, some aren't. Honestly, it depends on the subject matter. Sometimes if I remember to turn them off, sometimes just how I'm feeling. If they're open, leave a comment. If they're not open, feel free to send a message to blynddde1 @gmail.com.